Okay. All right. We're in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another week of When the Cleats Come Off. I'm so pumped to have CJ Beatty in the room. He is the GOAT, the softball motivator, the baseball motivator. Man, you pump me up so much that I'm just so excited for people to tune into this convo. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for that intro. I mean, I was not expecting that. I mean,
Oh, come on, you did.
You listen. You're definitely one of the most important people in the softball community in my eyes, and when you get somebody to say those type of words that has clout like you, it's like, oh shoot. Hey, mom, I made it. Mama, I made it. I got Ashley talking about me like this. So thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your podcast.
Oh, this is going to be fun. So we've done a lot of live interviews together. And so some people might have an idea of who you are and our relationship, but some people might not. So can you start us off with just your background into becoming the softball, baseball motivator?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and of course started playing baseball at the tender age of 5. Best little leaguer on the planet back when I was 5. And look, I was ranked before rankings even came out. I was ranked. You know what I'm saying? And that was only because I could run the right way. That was it. You know, usually little leaguers, if you want to separate yourself, just learn how to run the bases correctly, and you'll always get an inside Parker. Always.
Love it.
But other than that, man, I just continued to play baseball all the way up through high school. Got a lot of attention. My parents stayed on me to work harder than my just work harder than everybody. If you want more, you got to do more. That was something that was like burned into my brain when I was a child. And I believed it. I started to see the more I did at practice and at home, the more I was going to get out on the field. So I became addicted to practice because I was like, oh, shoot, I got to keep practicing hard because it feels so good to drop a bomb in the game. Oh, my God, that feels great. But that attracted, over 65 letters to come to my mailbox to go to pretty much any baseball school in the country. And I chose North Carolina A&T on a full scholarship in Greensboro. They were D1. And I said, my parents ain't got to pay a penny. So I said, I'm going there. You know, I got brothers and sisters after me. I want to help out the fam. I stayed there for 3 years. The St. Louis Cardinals drafted me. In the 2009 draft, I was able to play 6 years professionally. And when I retired from playing, I became a pro scout with the St. Louis Cardinals and also an assistant hitting coach in the minor league organization. So the baseball motivator and the softball motivator brands, towards the tail end of my career, I was like, I said the same thing that a lot of athletes say. If I knew what I knew now back then, shoot, I've been one hell of a player. Then I had this aha moment and I was like, everybody's on Instagram. All the kids are on Instagram. I'm already speaking in elementary schools as a motivational speaker, speaking in schools, doing the things for the youth. I need to create a brand that's going to connect the dots between player and mental toughness, because that's what I lacked as a player. Like I lacked that as a player. I had all the, I want to bigger, stronger, faster. I want to throw the ball harder. I want to hit the ball farther. I want to outrun everybody. I knew the physical grind, but I didn't know the mental grind. So I said, I want to dedicate my social media page. I took my personal page and just turned it into the baseball motivator brand. 2018 came around and I started to get a bunch of softball organizations were like, yo, you did this for the baseball team. We want you to come do this for the softball team. And at first I was like, I didn't play softball at first. But then again, I went out there, and shout out to the first organization that really put me on the map. And that was Glory Fast Pitch up in Arlington area. I love them. Susie Sizzle. She know who she is if she hears this. But the Glory Fast Pitch, I went up there and knocked it out the park. Those girls were unbelievable. The families were very receptive. And then it was just like riding a horse. You couldn't tell that it was a baseball softball. You couldn't tell. It was just like I was talking motivation. I was talking mental toughness. I was talking preparation. I was talking approaches. I was talking what you should do before the games, visualization, all of these things. And I was like, oh, shoot, you know what? I just became the softball motivator. You know what I'm saying? So I immediately went to my team and I got another logo designed. In 2018, I launched the Softball Motivator brand and has not looked back. Partnered with a lot of softball brands on social media, partnered with the Softball Factory, USA. I mean, it's just a lot of different things that I've been able to do in the softball community, and it's continuing to grow. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop it right here because I feel like it's great. Get ready to work on Softball Feel Good Music Volume 1. That is
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Let's
I
go.
gotta get some music out there for my sisters. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely going. But without further ado, it's your boy CJ Beatty, the Softball Motivator.
Oh, that's so fun. I didn't even know half the things that went into that development. So it was enlightening for me. And there's so many things I want to unpack from that story. Because, you know, it's fun to be able to see someone build a brand based on a need that they wish they would have had. And that's what I'm studying entrepreneurs left and right, as one. So it's interesting to see, you know, the people's why behind the brand is probably the most powerful thing.
It is.
And I know you are huge on the why.
Yes.
So is that it? Is that what made you decide this was it? Was the fact that, hey, I didn't get this stuff, so I'm just going to try to build something around that and see where it takes me?
Yeah, man, it is. It is. It's part of my why. You know, it's a part of my why. I became a motivational speaker because I feel, I mean, genuinely, and I stand strong on this. You're not living. I don't care what size bank account you have. I don't care what you're doing in life until you're purposely building other people. I mean, that's it. Service to many leads to greatness. Those sayings like that doesn't say service to yourself leads to greatness. No. Like, the great people in life are the ones that can impact people in a way that whenever they physically leave this earth, their legacy is here running these streets. So when I looked at that, I said, man, it's selfish of me. And it's crazy how I have to break this down, but I want people to understand this. My ultimate goal of making it to the major leagues and everything like that, that was, I mean, yeah, it was selfish. That was me wanting it for myself so I can do for others. But that was my thing. When I became a motivational speaker, I saw that it was bigger than me. When I got on them stages, when I got on those podcasts, when I get in those auditoriums, when I walk into corporate companies and I'm pouring and I'm restoring faith and creating faith, giving people hope. Like, when that happens, it's a part of me. It's a feeling. It's energy that I felt nowhere else because it's purpose driven. You know, before it was like, man, I got to get to the league. I got to do this. I got to be able to, I got to take care of the people in this circle. But when you become a motivational speaker, it's like you go hunting people because you want to help the world. So once I got a taste of that, I became addicted to that taste. And now I'm addicted to helping people. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to live a purposeful life, you must seek the masses, seek helping people, no matter the best way you can. It doesn't have to be money. It could just be taking somebody somewhere, picking up the phone, making a phone call and say, I'm just thinking of you. But if you focus and live your life that way, you'll be able to smile more often than any.
So deep. Jeez, I love it. So you mentioned that when you finished playing, you started realizing all these things that, you know, if you would have known that playing, you would have been like, probably even more lights out than you already were. So can you give us a few of those things that you discovered maybe after you played that you were like, man, I wish I would have had that?
Yeah, heck yeah, man. So when I got drafted, I was still thinking I was like the big fish. So I was like, oh shoot, you know, I'm that guy, you know, I'm Hollywood Beatty, you know what I'm saying? I know everything. But then when you get drafted and you're starting to play with your equals, it's like, oh shoot, they're fast too. Oh shoot, he can throw it. Oh shoot, dang, he's fast. I noticed something. The separator was between the ears. You know, I was just as strong as the people, but they had it here. They could make adjustments. They had a routine. I didn't know what a routine was. My routine was whatever the coach told me to do. I didn't have a physical routine for myself. And by the time, and I didn't understand mental toughness, and this is key. I didn't understand mental toughness until I was 23. Like, I heard about it, but I didn't understand it to the point where I could explain it until I was 23 years of age. So I find myself saying, when I was 23 and I said, oh my God, I just found out like the holy grail to mental, man, if I would have known what I knew now back then, if I would have knew about routines, approaches, adjustments, being able to study the picture, being able to take notes, having a journal, doing all these little things like that. If I would have known that back when I was, 13, where would I be mentally at 23? Would I even be in this position that I'm at? So that's when I said, you know what? I got to start getting this information out to these players as soon as possible, out to these athletes as soon as possible. I got to get this I look at corporate America like that's a sport within itself. So therefore I said, I got to get this to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You probably find people knocking on your door like, hey, I'm not an athlete, but like this helps me.
Oh man, all the time. The cutest thing is when the parents come into my speakings, they'll come in there with their, I'm here for Susie. Susie needs this. I'm here for Amy. I'm Amy's father. But at the end of it, they went from at the beginning, arms crossed and folded, to sitting up looking like this, to at the end when I'm signing autographs, they come up to me, hey, I needed that. I appreciate it.
Wow.
I'm glad I came. And I know that because motivation is for everybody. I don't care what instrument, tool, person, race, background, gender, whatever it is. Motivation is for all sizes.
Yeah. I'm curious, what motivates you? What's your motivator?
My biggest motivator is my family. It really is. It's something that people say, but I can explain it like this. The reason why it's my family is because I saw the sacrifices that had to be made for me to get to where I'm at. Yeah. I saw my dad pick up shifts. I saw my mom, whenever she got laid off for her job, I saw her continue to pick up and continue to push forward with her attitude. And so I made that a part of my direction, by saying, I want to be able to not do it for myself, but most importantly, I want to be able to give back to my family, so my why is centered around my family. Those times where you feel like giving up, you got to have a why. Those times where I didn't want to do an extra rep in the weight room, where I just didn't feel like getting up to go work out. You think about that why, you think about your dad, you think about your mom, you think about your brother, sister, or heck, every now and again with the players, when I go to my softball clinics, I say, hey, if you're blessed to have children of your own one day, I'm talking to 12, 13-year-olds, and I'm selling them. If you're blessed to have children of your own one day, what will they say about you? What kind of questions will they ask you? Hey, mom, what happened when you were 12 or 13? What kind of decisions were you making? And that really puts the players into perspective, like, oh, shoot, I never really looked at it that way. And then they're like, yeah, life is real. So that's the type of motivation I do at my workshops, is just really getting my little sisters, and I call everybody a part of my TSM fam, my little sisters, but get my sisters involved with starting that process of the mental and understanding that life is real out here, on and off the field.
Yeah, for sure. And what's awesome is the fact that, so people listening are mostly parents and coaches right now. Mm-hmm. And I think what's the most exciting is, yes, I felt the same way. I've spoken to athletes and then had parents come up to me afterwards and say, wait, I didn't know that. And I didn't know how much I was actually an influence for how my daughter thinks and how she acts and how she does things. And the way your parents and the way the parents live their life is likely how your athlete's going to see what to look forward to, what to look up to. So, man, that, like, if that's a gem that only one person takes away from today, I hope somebody takes away from that and says, whoa, and really
let me add to that. Parents need to understand that you cannot stop the dreaming factory. Yeah. The dreaming factory that you've had since you were a kid, you cannot stop it. And if you stopped it, you need to go upstairs, turn the lights back on, and turn all the machines back on. You need to start that factory. I understand. I get it. I understand that maybe one day, Father, you wanted to be in the NFL, and you're a little over the hill for the NFL right now, to say the least. I get it. But that doesn't mean stop and shut down the factory. You need to pivot to another dream. Because the reason why that's important and it's imperative and it's vital is because those sponges that we call your kids are watching you, whether they tell you or not. So if you're continuing to dream for something, like something, it doesn't have to be the NFL, but it could be dreaming for a better job. It could be dreaming to move and relocate your family. It could be showing them that house you want to be able to get to once you get that raise. Like understanding that is vital, because when they can see that in you, when you're long and gone from this earth, your daughter will be able to say this about you: I am not quitting because my father never did. He dreamed until his last breath. She dreamed. My mother was a fighter. And every time that the door closed in her face, she continued to fight. She was a dreamer, and so am I. You got to continue that factory. Not if you can't even continue it for yourself, just find something that drives you and share it with your kids. So therefore they can understand that you're goal oriented. You're driven for something, and that's going to leak over into their lives.
That's a beautiful way to say that. That reminds me of there was an athlete who said that her mom, whenever she was doing, I think it was like gymnastics, there was a gym next to her gymnastics, and every time she dropped her daughter off, she'd go to the gym and work on herself. And I loved hearing that, because I'm like, that's showing that you are willing to work for whatever your goal is too. Yep. And she can not physically see you work out, but know that you're going to work out while she's working out. Yeah. So it's almost like a team effort. It seems like.
It is. No, I mean, it very much is. And the last thing that I'll say to that is, as adults, when you're working like in corporate America and things like that, we're quick to say these type things. I wish that she would give the same about your boss. I wish that she would give the same energy towards her work as she gives my work, because she's always up my butt, always about this. I need to make sure you meet the quotas. I need to make sure you do this. Well, here's the thing. We got to do the same thing for our kids and for your players. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're on you because they want productivity. We should not settle because one kid's got out the house. So now you're going to take it easier on the other kids, because we can get started on that too, Ashley. That's another, hey. But at the end of the day, we got to understand, parents, it's your responsibility to make sure you keep the dream factory flowing. It's your responsibility to be their parent first and friend second, not vice versa. Because if you don't, you're setting them up for failure for life. Life is waiting for you to leave because you're their security net. And as soon as you leave, you're going to be setting them up for failure. Okay. I'm not telling you to throw them in the oven and make them experience the whole heat of the oven, but you need to open up the door so they can understand that oven's hot. Stop keeping them away from the fire. So then when you leave, they're like, oh, what does this do? And now they're just burnt to a crisp because they never was able to understand that fire burns. It's very, very important.
Yeah, let them make mistakes. Right?
Have to. And especially while you're here, while you're around, while you're available, let them fall so you can be there to pick them up.
Right. And that's probably why you love, it's a beauty of our sports. Baseball and softball, like we fail so much. Yes. And if we try to not let our athletes fail, what are we doing to them?
Yeah.
We're creating people who can't handle it.
For failure.
Yeah. Man. Oh, I love that. Some tough love. That's like good. That's so good. Drop the mic. Okay. So those of you on the podcast can't see this, but all of you on YouTube are probably going to be like watching us drop our mics on the screen. I love that. Okay. So I know parents probably have this question. It's okay. It's great. Like I want my athlete to feel motivated, but she's not, or he's not working on herself on her own. How would you ask parents to help their athlete realize what their goals are and how they can help them become more motivated to make them happen on their own?
I have three things that I like to say about that. The first thing is called focused conversations. Like literally have focused, targeted conversations, right? Don't just talk about what you need when it's relevant to talk about. Like, no, like goal conversations should be a lifestyle. Change it up. You know, if you want to motivate your kid, Like for example, if your kid came to spend a weekend with me, if Stacy came to a retreat, a TSM retreat, she's going to be overwhelmed with positivity, overwhelmed with goals, overwhelmed with, did you have your plan of attack ready? If she's going to go back, she's just going to think about, oh my gosh, my brain is like so heavy right now. And when you open up that brain and see what's inside, it's all of these that's all we talked about. But whatever you hang around is what you become. So you must create an environment in home, in the car, that's conducive for positivity, that's conducive for that's okay, we missed the mark this time, but how are we going to set the course of action to hit it next time? When is the next time? You have 3 weeks until that tournament, so let's make sure we get the cardio started this Monday. Like, these conversations is what's going to kickstart them to say, you know what, I missed it, but let's do it. Because I remember 2 years ago when I missed the mark, me and my mom sat at the table and we created a plan of attack. There we go. There we have it. Focused conversations that are geared towards molding the brain to feel like it's a lifestyle and not just talking to them whenever something happens and goes wrong. Because everybody does that.
Right.
Everybody does that.
How often should they do those then?
You should have enough focused conversations that you'll do it so much that you will never have to plan to do it. It becomes you. Like, I don't have focused conversations like scheduled in my phone. Like, oh shoot, I need to have a focused conversation with my wife right now. No, it just becomes a part of your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So at first, yes, it might be something that you set an alarm for. Say, we're going to talk about it at dinner, and try to think of conversations that you could talk about at dinner. But I guarantee you, if you do that more often, it'll slowly start. You won't have to make reminders about it. It will become your family. It will become the lifestyle that you guys live.
Yeah. And the goal would be to have the athlete then ask for the conversation.
Yep. And that'll be the goal. It's like, hey, what happened today? It's like, oh, let me tell you about this. So, they'll start to kick off things. They'll be more motivated. They'll be more inclined to bring conversations about what college that they want to go to, and wanting to make varsity and things like that, because you started that back in middle school for them. Just because it's not what it is doesn't mean that's what it has to be. And what I mean by that is, people will look at it like, well, my kid's, she's a sophomore and she's kind of late in the game. No, this is bigger than softball. This focused conversation is life-changing. It's like you need to start this ASAP. Focused conversations that are targeted and geared around goal setting, dreams, setting a plan of attack. What's your backup plan? Just talk about it. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is really, really being able to put them in that environment that inspires them to dream. One of the things that I was in network marketing for a little bit, and I am so thankful for that industry, not necessarily for the product that we were pushing, but the structure that network marketing MLM gave me when it came to self-help and personal development. They told me, one of my mentors in that organization told me, I want you to do yourself a favor one day, and I want you to go test drive a car that you would love to have. And I was like, I can't afford it, man. I don't even need to walk up there. I feel so out of place just being in the parking lot, no, I mean, eventually I'll get there. He said, no, you don't understand. You need to go test drive the car, right? And what that experience will do to you at the end of it is priceless and could change your life. And I trusted him and I did it. And at that particular time, I was fresh out of college. And I went to the Mercedes-Benz dealership and I test drive.
Good choice.
Of course, right? MB. Went to the Mercedes-Benz dealership and I test drove a S63 AMG. And it has so much horsepower and everything. Dude, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was smiling like a Chester cat. Just like the whole way, I'm just like,
I can see this. I can
oh
totally.
My gosh,
I can totally see this.
I should have been videotaping. This could have been good. But But after that experience, it took my belief level to a level I thought I could never get to. I thought I was already believing. But once I got out of that, it changed. I was so much, I was hungrier. I wanted it that much. I was there, and it was just, I was able to experience it. And it just made me that much more dedicated to my craft. So going back to the question, I think parents, if you have an opportunity to get your kids in the car for a weekend and take them to a college campus of their choice,
Yes.
like take them. They might think it's lame. They might be like, I want to go. I mean, I got years to go. Take them. Tell them that it's a great experience. You know, on the way, we'll make a little mini road trip of it. Whatever it is that you got to say, you know, your kids, whatever you got to say to get them out the house, but get them there on their first unofficial visit and let them walk the campus.
Yeah.
Call ahead, email the coach and just say, hey, do you mind if we walk around the stadium? Do you mind if we can go inside the locker room? Because those are the things that help kickstart the dreaming mechanism.
Right.
Say, you know what, I want to go here. When you see
Yeah.
your kids in their smile and say, ooh, I feel this feels like home. I want this. Or I didn't like that school, but I really love that school. Now they're starting to pick and compare and contrast, but all because you took the initial step of getting them in that dreaming environment that's conducive for dreaming.
Oh my gosh.
I think that that's huge.
Yes. Yes. And I have to mention this too. It's a lot of times I'll ask athletes, hey, did you watch Athletes Unlimited? You know, the professional softball that was on TV on ESPN2. And some of them were like, yes, I loved it. You know, that pitcher, I have dreams to throw a rise ball like that, you know? And it's like, even just watching the game, it can inspire that spark of, you know, I was a pitcher for a second. You're going to laugh so hard right now, but I grew up watching Monica Abbott and Kat Osterman. And when I first started, I was like, Dad, can I throw like Monica today? And I would like do her, and she had like a wild motion at Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
And I would do it. And I loved it. She's also very tall, like B. So like I was able to use my limbs kind of the way that she did, but I just had so much fun with it. And I'm like, let's see what works. And it came from just simply watching. And what I've noticed is those athletes that are like, oh no, like I didn't know softball was on TV. Even like college softball, which is on TV all the time, they're actually, what I've noticed, are the most unmotivated athletes because they haven't seen the next level. They haven't seen it with their eyeballs. Therefore, what kind of dream are they going to have? Obviously, they're not going to be motivated because they haven't seen, you know, their future self in another player.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, I think one of the first episodes I ever put on this podcast was why having a role model is so important. Why having somebody to look up to in this game is so important. It's just like you're saying, you kind of have to like drive in the Mercedes and see what it's like in order to realize what you want. That was so good. Okay. Now I'm anxious for number 3.
And yeah, I mean, number three kind of goes into what I was saying, number 1, but I said establish that weekly plan. Really, every Sunday as a family, you need to sit down at the kitchen table, pick a day, whether it starts on Sunday or Monday night. I prefer Sundays because that's kind of the end of the weekend, moving into the week, and sit down and have a plan for the week. You know, sit down with your little athlete and say, hey, you know, what do we want to get accomplished this week? Is it the backhand that we're working on? Are we trying to shed about 5 pounds? Are we trying to get a little quicker? Are we going to work on that pitching? Are we going to still work on that rise ball? I mean, what are we doing? And your slapping's coming around pretty good, but we need to continue to work on it. You know, if you want to be able to get to that Natasha Watley status, you're gonna have to work. You know what I'm saying? So, but establishing a weekly plan, a person, and this is why I said that is one of my 3, because of this saying right here: a person with no plan has planned to fail. I mean, seriously, a person with no plan has planned to fail. So as a family, if y'all don't have a time set to where you guys are talking a plan, a weekly plan, a bi-weekly plan, a monthly plan, right? If you're not talking about it, then what are we doing? As parents, what are we doing? I know you're trying to put your best foot forward, but this is free. This is free. This doesn't cost to sit down at the table and say, hey, give me Give me about 15 minutes of your time right now, honey. And let's sit down at this table and let's map out what you're going to do this week. Now, here's the thing that I want to be real about. I understand. I know my sisters can be some divas at times, and they can. I understand. I talk to my sisters just like they my sisters. I talk like I'm big bro to my TSN family members.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I tell them, I'm like, listen, when your parents come at you, they're not trained talkers like me. You know, they're not motivators like me. So when they come to you with suggestions or ideas, it's coming from a great place. And it's time for you to grow up and understand that. Because sooner or later, the tables will turn and you'll be sitting on the other side of that saying, I don't want my child to mess up like I did. So therefore, I want to sit down with her and have a weekly discussion to make sure she has goals. So now that the tables are not quite there, respect your parents enough that they're trying to position you to be the best person that you can be.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
absolutely. And I think maybe some parents here are thinking this, well, what type of questions should I ask, in those conversations? I mean, you did mention a few, like, hey, what's our goal for the week? I think that's important, but are there any other questions that parents can almost like have as a blueprint to be like, okay, even though my athlete doesn't love to have conversations,
Yeah.
maybe these are some that can kind of spark that interest?
You know, I would encourage them. Well, first as a scout, let's start from there. The first thing that you got to understand that scouts are looking for, they're looking for impact players. And they're looking for impact players. If I'm coming to scout Stacy Jefferson, right? I'm going to her high school to scout Stacy. The first thing that I'm gonna look for is a complete player. I want to see how she warms up. I want to see how well she interacts with her players before the game. I'm watching all this pre-game warm-up routine. Like, does she take warm-up serious? Is she throwing it, hitting the other person in their chest every time? Is she just lollygagging? Is she just more focused on cutting up and not ready for the game? That's one. The next thing that, like, when I'm watching, I want to be able to see how she handles the in-bats. Is she making adjustments? Is she hitting the situation that's needed? Is the runner on second less than 2 outs? Is she hitting behind the runner? Like, is she moving the runners around? Is she handy with the bat? Like, when she decides to swing, is she swinging in or out of the zone? You know, it's a lot of things that we look for as scouts to be able to say, like, this is a player I need to invest in. So have that conversation. Well, first, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. Parents, we need to get that education. But you ain't going to get an education if you don't look for it. I mean, you're not going to get anything that you don't look for. Because a lot of parents say, well, I didn't play at the highest level. What do I know? Well, you know, have you heard this thing called Google? Huh? Have you heard of Ashley? Have you heard of CJ Beatty? Well, you know, there's a lot of free game out here, free 99 that we're just giving away. Start to study it. I know you went to school, some sort of school. You had to take notes at one point in your life. Get on these podcasts, take notes, get this information, know this information. So then I guarantee you it's inevitable. The more you feed your brain, you'll know what questions to ask your daughter.
Man, I love that we're doing this interview now because it's going to be airing in 2021. So basically the beginning of 2021. And
turning
I think
over a new leaf.
Right. And that's the time of the year where people are inspired. They are motivated. But what do they do like come March, April, May, when, you know, all of that spark and excitement has weared off? What do they do?
But that's why you have to have a routine in place.
Yeah.
The routine is what keeps you the course. The routine is your routine, your daily routine, whether it's mental or physical, is what's going to keep you in line with your dreams and goals. It is. So your routine is like, I don't even, you know, I'm less motivated, but your routine says on Monday you're running. I'm less motivated, but I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to my routine.
Yeah. And how many times?
You gotta have that schedule in place that's going to help. And you know, by staying the schedule, by staying the course, you know, I can put in my GPS that I'm driving to California. I'm so motivated coming from North Carolina. I'm so motivated. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know it's a long trip, but I can't wait to go to California. Okay, I just get out of North Carolina and I'm like, yo, I'm not motivated anymore. So since I'm not motivated anymore, I'm just gonna get off track? No, because I'm not gonna end up at my destination.
Right.
It might not be the sexiest drive at nighttime, but I know where I'm going.
Right.
And I must stay the course if I want to get to my destination.
Yeah. So
you know,
like
it's not always going to be a straight path. I got to go through the mountains. I got to go up. It's going to be raining. It's going to be this, wind, all traffic. A lot of stuff along the way is going to possibly make me unmotivated. But you know what? My why keeps me going. My destination.
Yeah, that's so good. So I have a vision board. I think that might be cheesy, but and I'm not at my actual normal place, but behind me in my house are a bunch of Post-it notes of the future that I want to have for myself. And I think just having those visible can do a lot. Like, do you have like a vision board that you're referring to when you're not feeling motivated? And then as soon as you look at it or have these things or ideas that make you, become more motivated?
My mentor told me a vision board is a great first step.
Yeah.
But the next best step is a vision environment.
Like
and
the one you were describing.
Because I grew up like you. I had a vision board.
Yeah.
But they said it's great. That's the introductory level.
Mm.
You need to get a vision environment. I said, well, what's a vision environment? He said, everywhere that you lay eyes on, like every room you're in, you should have something that motivates you. Hence in my office right here. That's why you see this.
Tiger. Do you know that's my favorite animal? Did I ever tell you that?
Gosh. Man. So when I saw that, I said, oh, I got to buy it. That motivates me. That stimulates this. When I see that tiger, and it's huge, what you see behind me doesn't do it any justice in person. It's huge, right? But I love it because when I see it, I said, that's me. He's locked in on whatever, whether it's his next meal or whether to protect its own, he's locked in on it. And I said, that's me. I'm locked in. So I created a vision environment. There's things in my room. Like I have, Brianna has her, my wife has her jersey on the wall right there.
The Charge jersey?
No, she has her UL jersey.
ULL. Yeah. People don't know that we were teammates.
I know, right?
In the pro league. I know. I totally had to bring that up. So cool.
I mean, it's just so many other motivational accomplishments that are around me in this room to let me know that when I'm in tough times that I can do it.
Yeah.
Like in my car, there's times where I have like a saying that I want to learn and I'll write it on a sticky note and I'll put it on my glove compartment in my truck. And they're like, dude, why you got sticky notes on you? And what is this? It's so tacky. Well, it's not for you to make it look good. It's for me up here.
It's for me. Yeah.
It's for me. So it's like creating a vision environment. Like everywhere you spend the most time, you're supposed to have something, bathroom wall, the ceiling above your bed, because when you wake up, the first thing you look at is the ceiling while you're laying in bed. So it's like having things up there. I got some of my family members that have my sayings on a poster board that moms have put on their ceiling. So when they're laying in bed, they know what they're thinking about before they go to bed, and they know what they're going to wake up to start their day with.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I would encourage people to create a vision environment wherever they go.
Yeah. So I want to be conscious of your time here. And I have a couple of final questions that I want to ask. But before I do that, I want to make sure people know how to follow you, because I know so many people are going to be so inspired and motivated themselves to continue learning from you. So where can people find you and what are you up to?
I would say the best place to follow me is going to be Instagram. That's where I am heavy. I'm also on Facebook too. But you can follow me on Instagram at CJ Beatty 44. There's a couple other, I found this out. Actually, there's like 2 or 3 other pages out there now. But
copying you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's if you're copying me, you're hopefully motivating somebody.
Exactly.
So I don't really get too upset about it. As long as they don't say nothing crazy.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But CJ Beatty 44 has the blue check mark to show that I'm verified. Twitter, CJ Beatty 44. And if you want to learn more about who I am, just go to cjbeatty.com.
Yeah. And go listen to the new softball music coming out.
Yeah, that's I can't wait to work on that. It's been overdue. I got 5 volumes out of baseball feel-good music, but I said I got to get me some softball feel-good music out there for my sister.
Yeah. And I'm sure Bree can give you all the things, but if you need some help,
Oh,
give me a text.
yeah. Hey, but look, hey, I might need to put you on a verse, Ash.
Oh, I don't know about that. I just meant like ideas of what to sing about.
I gotta put you, you know what I'm saying? You can give me 8 bars, can't you?
I don't know. This is so funny. All right, let's get into these final questions because you got to run here soon. Okay, first question. I'm gonna ask you 5. First question is, what is your favorite part about the game itself? And you can choose baseball or softball, whichever.
No, I mean about the game. When I say the game, I'm saying baseball and softball included. I would say the grind. The grind is my favorite part. I mean, people don't understand that the great ones absolutely love practice. And I'm not saying that I was great, but I played at a high level. And the only reason I played at a high level was because I was so infatuated with practice. Like going to practice for me, like when I was in the off season, I got my speaker. I had a cooler with Gatorades in it. Like I was there prepared to spend hours. You would have thought that I was prepared to go to the beach. I mean, for real, I had a cooler, I had a speaker playing, I had, matching outfit just in case I want to take some workout content pics and stuff to post. Hey, check me out, I'm working out. Like I literally prepared for practice the next day as if I was going to a party or something.
I love that.
Because I knew how important that was. But that came because the game taught me how to grind. You're playing arguably the toughest sport on the face of the earth, that being baseball or softball, where it's so much failure involved. You can freaking smash the softball 4 times and go 0 for 4. And then your friends can't touch the ball, but they run into it twice and they go 2 for 2. And you're like, whoa, she's swinging the bat terribly and she 2 for 2. What is that? But it's the grind. It's the life lessons that come from the sport that you learn as you get older that says, I learned how to communicate with people because of softball. I got this job because of softball, because back in the day I was timid and I never wanted to talk to people, but softball helped me become a team player. And now I'm using the same concepts in corporate America. I am so that's what it is, the grind.
Love that. What was the greatest lesson your parents taught you?
To help others. I mean, to really help others. And that's probably why I became a motivational speaker. They were just like, at a young age, I didn't understand it, but they were like, hey, we get ready to go pick up your cousin so he can go out there to practice with you. I'm like, why? I don't want my little cousin to come out there. He's going to get in the way. But they taught me, he said, he needs to get better too. And he looks up to you. So they taught me that at a young age. And I eventually got out of that habit. I was like, yeah, go pick him up, because I started to encourage him. I started to teach him. And then that's what kickstarted me saying to other people. I learned from that. When you go work out, when you go to work on your arm, when you go to work on getting ground balls, call up a teammate. Take them with you. Take them with you. Because what's going to happen, that's contagious. That's how you build a championship ball club. Because you calling Ashley to go long toss or the front toss or whatever it is that you want to do, what's going to happen is other players are going to see that and they're going to ask, hey, girls, can you let me know when y'all are going up there? I would like to come too. Sooner or later, it'll start off as just you to 2 to 4 to 6. Now the coach is like, hey, we got early hitting and the whole team out there. All because of one person decided to bring one.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask me, they reach out and they say, I'm motivated, but like nobody else around me is. And I'm like, just keep doing your thing. They're going to see you crushing it and doing great things that they're going to be like, how do I get a taste of this? Then you can introduce it to them. But if you try to push it on them, they're not, they won't.
They might not even see it then, because I heard a lot of people, of course, what I'm doing now, people see it on a bigger scale. But people now are coming back to me, former high school teammates are coming back to me saying, dude, you stay consistent. And I see how it's paid off,
Mhm.
and I wish I would have done it back when I was being a knucklehead in high school. But thank you, because now seeing what you do has inspired me to be a better person. Like, they might not get it now. You just
Yeah.
like you said, Ashley, tell them to keep doing what you're doing. And in due time, they're going to come to you, whether it's next week, by the end of the season, or 2 or 3 years from now. They're going to come back and say, I remember when you was practicing and I wasn't. And I wish I would have, but thank you, because now when I have kids, I'm going to tell them that's the way that you should be.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I have probably less than 60 seconds with you, so maybe we can grind through these last 3.
Yeah, let's do
But
it.
what's one thing that you wish you could tell your younger self?
Read more.
Good one.
Read more, because you don't know everything, and there are books out there, man, are everything. I learned that late in the game. It was like, man, there's books out there that's just dripping with information that can take your life and game to the next level. Just go find you a good book. They're inexpensive. There's so much less expensive than Xboxes and PlayStations and TVs and pocketbooks and dresses and this and whatever you could be buying.
Yeah.
You go out and get you a book. It could change your life.
Yeah. That's how I feel about a good podcast too.
Yeah, exactly. Find audiobooks, a podcast, invest into your mental health.
Heck yeah.
If you can do that, it can change everything for you. So I wish going back, I wish I would have read more.
Yeah, me too. I never liked reading, but
Mhm.
I agree with you. Who was your greatest role model growing up?
Well, I would say 2. My dad, because man, my dad was a truck driver. And seeing him sacrifice and driving long hours, 15-hour days of just driving in the truck. Sometimes I drive 30 minutes up the road. I'm like, yo, I can't see how my pops does this. I'm just like, oh, I wish I could click my heels and just be there. Like, why I got to drive and sit in traffic and all this stuff. So just seeing my dad being consistent over, like 25 years as a truck driver, I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? If he can get up and do something that I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to do, but he has to do, then he instilled that hard work into me. And I would say, as far as athletes go, I would say Jackie Robinson.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, because of what he endured. I mean, I look at, even when I watch 42, rest in peace to Chadwick. But whenever
yes.
whenever I watch 42, that movie, I'm just like, I don't know if I could have done it. I mean, it takes that type of a person. I mean, because there was so many breaking points that when I watched that, I'm like, no, I would have definitely said something. I would have done something. I would have walked out. I would have put my hands on him. I would have done something. But to see his character and what he endured for the betterment, I mean, salute Jackie Robinson, man, for sure.
Man, yeah, that movie, I get so emotional every time I watch it.
Yes.
But, so great. All right, final question. CJ, what legacy do you want to leave on this game?
Ooh. I just want, like, when it's all said and done and I'm gone from this earth, I want people to understand that they have a fighter on the inside of them. Like, I really want people to understand that they deserve what they want and more. And I don't want them to ever believe that they're not good enough or that their time has passed. My legacy is going to be able to be left to show that all things are possible. As long as you have the faith, the dedication, the hard work, anything is possible. So I that's what I want left on the game is that I want people, my softball family, my baseball family, my athletes, my followers, I want everybody to understand that who you are is not who you have to be. Who you are is not who you have to be. It's a decision. And if you make that decision to change, then it's done.
Woo! You gave me goosebumps. That was so rad. Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much, CJ, for being on the show. Congratulations is in order. You're going to be a dad. So pumped about this. When I found out the news, I was so excited for you.
Yes, thank you.
Ah.
I can't wait. I can't wait, man. I think it's gonna be a girl, and I can't wait because I'm gonna be one crunk softball dad out there. I'm gonna be one crunk softball dad. Get it, girl. Go, girl. Go. Blue, you had to see me in the parking lot. She was safe.
I love it. Well, you're going to be an awesome dad, and I hope everybody listening goes and follows you because you're a huge inspiration to many. You're inspiring thousands across this country and probably beyond at this point. This was so much fun. I already want you back on. So,
and I'll be right here for you, honey. Thank you once again. I did not say that loosely. I am honored to be on your podcast. I mean, the things that you do, Ash, it's beautiful. It's life-changing. And I just like the fact that you don't care about numbers. You just care about helping. I mean, and that right there is huge. And you're shaping your legacy right here, right now. I see it. And I just want to encourage you to continue to push, girl, because there's somebody out there that need it and needs you. And don't you ever quit, because when they see you one day, they're going to let you know that.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
You're awesome. All right.